No, Matthew, not Tingler. I don't want to be tingled anymore. I can't. No more tingling. I don't want the tingler. I said, no, I can't.
Are you still talking about Tingler?
Oh, now you cut me off. Where were you last week?
I didn't even know what to do. You just went into this like crying mode about Tingler and, so I just let you go. Like I felt like you needed to get it out.
What are you talking about? I thought you were going to cut me off and then I just kept going and going. And then that's what you put out there.
Well, believe it or not, I actually edited it shorter.
I do believe it. I was pretty deep into my cups at that part of the show. Anyway, folks, what I mean to say is I want to issue a public apology about the bit regarding Tingler last week. No, I don't think he would be a good choice for bench coach because, no, I just thought he was an awful manager, and watching him go up against whatever the manager, Dave Roberts. I almost forgot Dave Roberts' name. Anyway, the point is that Dave Roberts makes him look like a little child riding a tricycle. Okay? And so, no, I don't want Chase Tingler to be the bench coach. Okay? But that bit was a little long. It was a little over the top as it was. I admittedly was a bit screechy, which, first of all, you know that, because, that's just my voice. Not all of us can have the dulcet, sweet tones of Matthew Henry.
True.
But nonetheless, listeners, you deserve better. Probably not going to get it, but you deserve it. Anyway, Bob, play the music. Bob, come on, what are you doing? What's going on, Bob? Somebody tingling Bob over there? What's going on?
Welcome to Giant Cocktails, where the baseball is mid, but the cocktails are elite. Here are your hosts, Ben and Matthew Henry.
Welcome to episode 336 of Giant Cocktails. Matthew, in 1995, the greatest San Francisco Giant of them all, the Sarge, Matt Williams, hit 336 before he broke his foot in what was already a shortened season because of the strike that ruined the World Series in 1994 and made the 1995 season 144 games. But that's all we had. We couldn't find any other 336 number.
No, that's not true. There was another 336 number, but you chose the one that you wanted to do because you're a big Matt Williams fan.
Because Matt Williams is the best San Francisco Giant ever. I don't know who this Buster Posey guy is from 2012.
Yeah, well, this Buster Posey guy hit 336 in 2012 to lead the league in hitting, while also taking home the NL MVP and leading the Giants to their second World Series championship. Sounds like it might be a little bit better than Matt Williams this season.
Just a little bit. But you know what? We got to keep him, grounded now that he's in such an important position, So we can't just be dousing him with accolades. Poor Matty Williams, he's unemployed.
He is unemployed.
Old number 9 is gone. I wonder if Bryce Eldridge is going to wear number 9. And that's why they had him in what was he was wearing? What was the number? It was 117
or something like that. Yeah, that was 117.
Yeah, it was 117, which is not a bad number, I guess.
Enough with the banter. Let's talk cocktails.
Yes, Bob, let's talk cocktails.
What are you drinking, Ben?
Bob, I'm drinking a cocktail that I am calling a Bennessee Iced Tea. And why is it called a Bennessee Iced Tea? Well, because it's close to a Tennessee Iced Tea, but I didn't have the right ingredients for it, so I needed to name it something else, and why not name it after it myself? Why not name it after myself? I haven't even had any yet, and I can't talk. So that's what I'm drinking, Bob. If you're curious to know what's in it, you're going to have to wait till the end of the episode to find out. Or you could just go into the app and then scroll down and see the ingredients there. Either way, whatever floats your boat. Whatever floats your boat. I know that 75% of you are going to listen all the way to when we play the music at the end, because that's what the stats say you do. Which I thank you for.
What are you drinking, Matthew?
Bob, I'm drinking a cocktail I'm calling the Golden Orchard. And what I'll say about it now, before I tell you all about it at the end of the episode, is it's got vodka in it. And if you've been following us for any length of time, that's quite unusual. But I'll tell you all about it and why I decided to do it at the end of the episode.
Hang on, I gotta make my cocktail.
Oh.
Okay, here we go. Nice. Nice. And we got to do the NSC part of the cocktail now, Matthew. That's the Coca-Cola. Anyway, today is Sunday, October 26th, as we record this podcast. The baseball season is still not over, and the Giants haven't played in a month. I'm cranky, and I'm miserable, and, you know, there was a brief moment where I thought at the very least we were going to have the guarantee that the Dodgers wouldn't win the World Series at home. But no, Gosman had to make Schneider look like an idiot. And that's your analysis of the playoffs. That's all we're doing. That's all I can. That's it. That's what happened in the playoffs. Oh, well, I do feel very bad. I do feel bad for Seattle. Like, for an organization in a city that has never made it to the World Series. The team that used to be the Pilots got speed bumped by the Dodgers. And the current Seattle team got almost as close as you can get. Almost. 2 innings away. That was brutal, Matthew.
It was brutal. But, I mean, the World Series Game 1, my favorite part, though, was Blake Snell, like, giving up, 5 runs. And
that is true. That was very, very nice. What I really liked about it was kind of like the microcosm of the Dodgers season in terms of their difficulties with pitching. You know, not that it hurt them that much. You know, they had to play in the first round of the playoffs because they didn't win their division, but then they went 9-1 in their first 10 games of the playoffs, Matthew. 9-1 against allegedly the National League's best. 9-1. Anyway, but finally, the way that they were winning in the postseason didn't come together. Blake Snell, you know, was and then he was meh. And then the Dodgers bullpen was hold my beer. They were like, oh, we can't let Blake give up more runs in this inning than us.
just need that to happen 3 more times.
That's right. And frankly, you know, one Yamamoto-esque start doesn't mean anything. So, You know, whatever. I'm still just hoping for one Toronto win in LA, though. So at the very least, the series ends in Toronto, however it goes. That's my current hope. And that ends your playoff analysis for this week's episode. Which means we're not going to spend any more time talking about the Dodgers or the Blue Jays or the Mariners today. Today, we are going to be talking about Tony Vitello, including the fact that we now know how to say his name.
We did a whole episode.
We did. I mean, it's spelled Vitello.
It is. And
it might be Vitello. You know, that's how it's spelled for Italians. Vitello. But no, it's pronounced Vitello by Tony, or at least by all the people on the TV who are saying his name. So that's fact number 1. So we're gonna wrap that up because Matthew and I we pretty much beat that one to death.
We just beat everybody to the punch. We assumed that he'd already gotten the job when we did our last week's episode.
Yeah, exactly. And then it took them 4 more days to get the deal done. I was getting a little nervous. I was honestly getting a little nervous. I was like, when are they going to get this done? When is this going to end? This is starting to look like they're going to have to go to option 3. Right? This is almost a Kurt Suzuki moment, Matthew.
A 1-year contract? Yeah.
Yeah, to Ron Wotus.
To Ben Henry.
Oh, yeah. But the segment of the show is now that the Giants have hired Tony Vitello, what now? What now for Tony? Not what now for Buster. What now for Tony? What does he have to do? And that's a lot, I think.
He's got to add Waymo to his phone.
Yeah, he's straight. He's got to add Waymos to his phone. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's got to buy a place, in the apartment. He's got to, or at least rent a place in the apartment complex across the street. Yeah.
I'm sure the Giants can get him a deal.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you would hope.
Well, one of the ways that we found out about this was that Tony Vitello eventually, obviously confirmed that he was a candidate or he was going to be the next manager. And he wrote a letter to Volunteer Nation, if that's what they're called, I don't know. And his first line was, as you may have heard by now, I have been hired to babysit Drew Gilbert.
That's right.
Which I think has to be one of the best opening lines of any announcement of a job in the history of Major League Sports.
Right. And the good news is that Matthew found a book written by Tony Vitello about tips for babysitting Drew Gilbert.
Yes, he did write a book about it. I don't know if you may or may not have
I did not know this. I don't know. Babysitting Drew Gilbert was not something I was even on my radar until the Giants traded for Drew. But then now that you mention it and I think about the whole, he was soaking wet at the end of that home run celebration and everybody else was bone dry. This makes sense.
It does. Mm-hmm. So I did skim the book and I put together some of the key components of the babysitting tips.
Cool.
And they make perfect sense, actually, when you think about it. The first one was child locks on everything.
Okay, right. Yeah, child locks on the baseball bats, child locks on
especially the bats, because he will swing it when anyone's around. Like he's taking out kneecaps like no other.
Yeah, as everybody knows, you don't want to give somebody like that a baseball bat. Certainly, you don't want to put a blindfold on him and have a swing at a piñata. I mean, right. not unless you're brave.
Another tip: strictly enforced bedtime. Because when he doesn't get enough sleep, he goes crazy. Like
I totally get that one. Yep.
And so he's manic if he doesn't get enough sleep. So strictly enforced bedtime.
Okay.
Next one, do not, and it said big bold letters, do not give him sugar before a game.
Do not give him sugar before a game. What if he hasn't had enough sleep, Matthew? Should I give him sugar then? Like let's say I screwed up the bedtime part. Or is that just a disaster waiting?
I think you're just compounding the problem. I think no okay. Sugar. It's like you can't feed. What were those animals? Gremlins after midnight. Yeah, no sugar before a game ever.
That's right.
This one it's kind of a universal one, but with Drew Gilbert makes sense. No running with scissors allowed.
Okay, this is true for adults. You would think that this is one of those things that you could get away with as an adult, but no, equally bad. All right.
Next one. A little known fact that if he gets overstimulated, playing Baby Shark will calm him down.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. All right, so if he doesn't get to bed on time and he does have sugar before the game, it's Baby Shark every half inning.
Baby Shark.
All right, got it.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
And then next one, of course, put his name on everything because he will absolutely misplace his glove. Like you're sending him out to center field in the third inning, and he's going to waste 5 minutes trying to find his glove.
Right, because he's got the first baseman's glove on.
Yes. So put his name on everything.
Yeah, and it's the right-handed one.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, okay.
Next one, be prepared to answer questions like, why can't I slide into first?
Okay. Yeah.
I can just picture him.
Like that's sense. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, he's gonna ask lots of those kind of questions. So you just have to go with it. You have to explain to him because he needs to know. Provide plenty of snacks, sunflower seeds, and Gatorade at the end of every other inning is important.
Okay, that makes sense. And gum, right? Lots of gum, chewing gum.
No gum.
No gum?
Because he will either swallow it or it will end on the top of everyone's hats.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. Wow. Well, I think this sounds like a perfect book that Bob Melvin should have had, but unfortunately he didn't read it. And that's why he lost his babysitting
Another
job.
reason why Tony Vitello was hired is that he is better prepared to be the Giants manager.
That's right. A trained expert. Yeah. Somebody who knows, somebody with experience. That totally makes sense. See, everybody thinks, this guy doesn't have experience. He's bad. But no, turns out he's the most experienced. Wow.
The most experienced to deal with our starting center fielder next year.
All right. Well, I guess that means, Matthew, we should talk about the fact that the Giants did, in fact, sign Tony Vitello to be the next manager of the San Francisco Giants after taking a lot of extra time to do it than I personally felt comfortable with. But as I said, we learned a couple things. Number one, it's pronounced Vitello, or at least it is for now, until we hear differently. Number two, he is getting paid more than he was paid by the Volunteers, by $300,000 a year. Is that enough to cover the, cost of living and state income taxes? And I don't care. I don't care. The point is, he's getting paid more than he was by the other organization.
Well, next week he's going to be doing like Toyota commercials with Brock Purdy. So
that's true. That's true. That's true. That's true. He's going to be doing all of the commercials. Have you noticed that Paul Skeens is like just doing all kinds of commercials? Have you noticed that? Yeah,
yes.
Because he knows the Pirates are not going to ever give him an extra cent than they have to.
He's doing what he's got to do to get paid.
Yeah. And he's like, he doesn't know, right? He doesn't know if he's ever going to get that payday. So he's working it. He's working it now. More power to him. All right, but anyway, yeah, and of course the Giants are paying for the $3 million buyout as well. So, and then there's the $4 million they're getting Bomel. Isn't that interesting, Matthew? The Giants are paying two managers $7.5 million.
10 if you count the buyout.
Well, I don't want to count the buyout because about what I'm about to say.
Oh, okay.
Which is the one that's getting paid more is getting paid to not be the manager. Which is why I don't want to include the other $3 million, because in which case that's not true. So spin it whichever way you want, folks. But yeah, anyway, there you go. But Matthew did some deep research to figure out the history of Tony Vitello. I think he went all the way to Wikipedia for this one.
Well, I know, but I started tallying as I was reading every article I could about Tony Vitello. There were things that stood out to me. First of all, his first coaching job was he was the former associate head coach of the Salinas Packers.
Wow. The Salinas Packers. I like that name because I know Salinas pretty well. You and I spent a lot of time out there in our youth because that's where our grandma lived. And there were a lot of packing plants out there, veggie packing plants. Yeah.
Well, Healdsburg, where I'm at, has a semi-pro team called the Prune Packers.
The Prune Packers?
Mm-hmm.
That sounds... I want to... Let's come back to that later in the show when I'm more towards the end of my cocktails.
Okay.
Because I feel like prune packers is a word that I would really like to, a phrase I would like to
say over and over
explore
again.
a little bit more.
Okay.
Prune packers.
Well, one thing that really stood out when I was doing my research on Tony Vitello is just everybody keeps mentioning what a competitor he is. Like, he does not like to lose. And the more I started thinking about that, the more I was like, heck yeah, give us more of that. Right? I mean, I just want a guy that's going to be like Fire Truck the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Let's compete.
Fire Truck, good.
Yes. So I'm down with this. The competitor part is, if that's the fiery brand that we need, heck yeah. I want more of that. Give me more of that, Ben.
I will give you more of that, Matthew. No, I think that bodes very, very well. I mean, I think it's nice for the rest of the team to see that energy come out of the coaching staff because it just helps everybody, remember that we're all aligned and we're all working for the same thing. And I think it makes it easier for people to have conversations that might otherwise be difficult, right? Because we're all trying to do what we all want to do, which is win. But, I'd still I'm like, okay, yeah, be fiery, but also be good,
Well, yes, that has
be
to
smart.
You can't be fiery and bad.
I mean, you've seen a lot of coaches who are good at yelling and pumping their fists when something good happens, but none of that matters if you suck.
Exactly.
So, also don't suck.
I also could not get over the Tyler Rogers connection through all this. Here we trade Tyler Rogers, get back Drew Gilbert. Drew Gilbert becomes this fan favorite, puppy dog, getting choked in the dugout, slapping on people's heads.
Mascot / cheerleader.
and totally changed the dynamics of the dugout and the clubhouse. And I think that it may have opened Buster's eyes to that type of energy making a difference, right? And so I feel like that may have then said, hey, I should look at someone like Tony Vitello, and may have led to the eventual hiring of him. So that whole kind of following the chain was interesting. But to close the loop, I realized that Tyler Rogers and Drew Gilbert went to school about less than 200 miles apart in Tennessee.
Wow. And Tyler Rogers had a secretary named Gilbert, and Drew Gilbert had a secretary named Rogers.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's fascinating. That's fascinating. I'm a little worried, though. I'm a little worried that you seem to be implying that trading Tyler Rogers was a good idea. Which is, I'm willing to okay, maybe.
Well, I
But
feel
next
like
thing
you
you're gonna say
can't go
that-
back and change history, right? So we have to make the best out of it. And the fact that they're going to sign him in the offseason and then we win the World Series in 2026 will make everything better.
Okay, and how do you feel about the Camilo trade?
Oh, it needed to happen.
Camilo! Does this mean we're going to sign Tyler Rogers, though?
Yes, why not?
Because somebody else is going to give him more money?
Yeah, but we could give him more money. So I feel like
that's true. We could. I mean, we gave $4 million to Bob Melvin to go away.
Exactly. We could double that for Tyler
we
Rogers.
basically, Buster spent $4 million on a shot of confidence to try to give the team a jolt. If you're going to spend $4 million on that, then you can spend a little bit more than that to get Tyler Rogers.
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, I agree. I agree that Tyler Rogers is somehow related to this being a possibility.
I also felt like, as I started to look into this whole big personality thing, I was like, we're looking at like Bob Melvin, and we talked about Matt Chapman and how he was going to react. But you go back further, the Giants, we're used to having big personalities, Ben. Yeah, I mean, since 2010, you and I could name off a lot of Giants players that were big personalities.
What? No. This
No?
is ridiculous. The Giants have never had a big personality, not once, not ever. Not in their history. Out of all their great players, all of them were like Matt Williamses.
So Tim
hit the
Lincecum,
home
the
run,
freak?
put your head down, charge around the bases, get back in the dugout, act like you've been there before. Don't make a mockery of the other team. Just get in there and get out. Good old Matt Williams style.
Ben, we had the freak. We had Brian Wilson.
Oh my God, Brian Wilson. I think you could have stopped at Brian Wilson, right? I think Brian Wilson is like yes. Yeah,
We had whole stands of people with panda bear hats on in their with Pablo. You had Madison Bumgarner like just breathing fire on the mound.
That's right. Because you didn't act like Matt Williams. That would make him really angry, and he would stand out, and he had a big personality. No, you're absolutely right. I mean, this is kind of something that has been throughout the Giants' history, right? I mean, Barry Bonds, big personality.
Will Clark, big
Will
personality.
Clark, absolutely. And guys from the 70s.
There must have been some guys
Somebody,
from the 70s, right?
Gary Maddox, I don't know, Willie Mays, that guy from the 60s. Yeah, no, I mean, the Giants have had plenty of huge personalities. And I think, honestly, we've had a few managers that were big personalities. I mean, even, recently, like, I wouldn't say Boch had a big personality. He had a je ne sais quoi about him, right? He
Sure.
he had gravitas. But Dusty. Like, Dusty was a very big personality and very boisterous, right? Very much enthused and part of the team. Wore his heart on his sleeve, and you could see, he showed the emotion when the team was succeeding or when they weren't. Yeah, this is nothing new to us.
Go back to the 80s, Ben, and we had a manager that had a whole marketing campaign around his catchphrase.
Baby.
That's
Yeah.
right. So managers can also have personalities. I don't
Yeah.
think that that's something that's totally out of the realm of possibility.
One of my favorite things about Roger Craig is the old videos of him running when he was a manager.
I don't remember that.
It's pretty funny. It's pretty funny. Go out there on YouTube and see if you can find it, folks. Is Ben making fun of old people running? Yes, he is. But that's okay, because Ben is an old person who can't run. So, anyway. But what you're saying is the Giants have a history of big personalities, and you know, Drew Gilbert's a big personality, right? And now Drew is like, we don't really know where he is in the whole, depth chart. But, I would say Willy Adames has also sort of emerged as well. I think the quiet kind of, go about your business stuff is really sort of something that I think was only part of the Giants post their World Series runs, right? Like maybe the 2014 Giants were like that, even though Pence was still there. But I think the idea that the Giants are just kind of a quiet team who go about their business, that's only been a recent thing.
Exactly.
That's not who the Giants have been historically in the past, and it certainly wasn't what defined the 2010 team, for sure, with the likes of Brian Wilson and Lincecum. So, no, I absolutely agree. I think it would be good to see a little bit of the fire come back for the Giants, and and see a bunch of guys who are hopefully pissed that they're losing, especially when they're losing to the Dodgers. Because Tony, I don't know if anybody told you this, but there's 2 rules. 2 rules, Tony. Win the World Series. And do what, Matthew?
Beat the Dodgers.
That's right, Tony. Beat the Dodgers! I will accept you not beating the Dodgers only if you win the World Series. But even then, I'm still not going to forget. All right. Well, Matthew, that brings us to our next topic of the show. Which is, now that Tony's been hired, he has signed on the dotted line. He made a selfish decision for himself. Because, he feels bad. He feels bad about leaving Tennessee, right? I think he recognizes that he built something really great there over the past 7 or 8 seasons. I can never remember how to count those things. And so, he feels bad about that. And I think he's largely going to probably be moving by himself, right? He's not going to bring a ton of people with him. So he views it as sort of like this thing that he's doing for himself. But I think on the surface, it makes perfect sense, right? Like, this is your profession. I think he's already proven whatever he needs to prove to himself at the college level, right?
Yeah.
And this
absolutely.
is sort of this is it. This is the only thing that's left to pursue.
It's
and
the pinnacle of your career.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the opportunity drops in your lap. You kind of have to take it.
And
so,
I thought it was interesting that he used the word selfish, like in his letter to out there. He said that he was being selfish, but it was something that he had to do. And I think he could have left the word out, selfish, because it's something that you had to do. Like, nobody's blaming him for leaving the University of Tennessee. Well, maybe some Tennessee fans
I was going to say, I
blame him.
bet you a lot of people are blaming him, Matthew. A lot of people are pissed. So especially the way college sports people can get, Matthew.
Well, he was aware of that. He didn't want to be labeled as the football coach? Lane Kiffin.
Oh, right.
He said in his press conference thing or whatever that he didn't want to be the next Lane Kiffin, who left Tennessee after 1 year to be the USC coach.
Okay, look, you were at Tennessee for 7 years, dude, and you
won a College World Series.
Yeah, I think it's a little different. It's a little different. No, I think every person knows why he did it. Right? I don't think anybody can. They're still mad about it. But I think they understand it. So yeah. But anyway, the question is, now that he's made that decision, other than finding an apartment in San Francisco
and putting Waymo on his phone,
getting Waymo on his phone, and
that pretty much covered that. That's all he's got to do. Then he's ready.
Right. That's it. That's all he's got to do. It's boom, done. What do you think he has to do next? Like, what's next on his list? Like, imagine you got this job, Matthew. What would you do?
Probably visit Smuggler's Cove.
Oh, no. Well, okay. That's what you would do. Yes.
Okay, yeah. Well, I'm still, he's got to hire some coaches, right? I mean, he's got to, but I think even before that, well, maybe while he's doing that, I think we could talk about coaches not named Tingler, I guess.
Well,
I think
you can put Tingler on the list, people. You can put him on the list.
He's got to do the tour, doesn't he? He's got to go see his players, don't you think?
He's got to go visit them all?
I think so, or at least the core guys. I think, guys that he may have a hard time winning over, I think he's got to go meet with like Matt Chapman and Logan Webb.
Well, there are definitely guys on this team who didn't want to see Melvin go. Certainly, I think Matt Chapman would be the one that you would be the most concerned about. Like, I have no idea. But, like, Matt Chapman is a Melvin guy. And so maybe you're right.
If you were to ask me, I'd be like, I got to go visit my guys. He's got to go to them. Okay. Right. So I feel like that's going to be a big part of it. He's got to go and get to know them and tell them what he's about. And I think if he goes to them, then that sends a message that he's taking this seriously. And so that would be my number one thing.
Well, that's interesting. So what you're saying is he's got to do the recruiting job. He's got to travel around and he's got to go into the living rooms.
Well, that's a good way of putting it.
He's got to have the conversation and say, this is why you're going to be a success in San Francisco with Tony Vitello as your manager. Absolutely. Just like he had to do at Tennessee. Exactly. Or I don't know, people on his
and instead of like the moms, he's going to convince the wives. I don't know.
Right.
But
okay. I mean, maybe I definitely think he has to talk to the guys. I definitely do. I don't know that he has to get on an airplane and go into their living rooms.
He's got to go on an airplane.
Okay.
Get on an airplane.
Okay, well, so
what would you do, Mr. Smartass?
Well, okay, so first of all, San Francisco Giants players, if you're the kind of guy that needs him to fly to you and go into your living room, get over yourself, dude. Get over yourself. He's your manager. You play where he tells you to play. Stop being such a prima donna. God. Now, here's the thing. I'm not Matthew. I don't think you need to do that because I think you're all pros. At best, you get a phone call. Okay, the man is busy. Okay? Well, but yeah, I agree. He's got to talk to all the guys on the telephone.
All right.
Maybe a Zoom call. Maybe, if that's what they want.
You were just asking me and I feel like he's the kind of guy that will get on a plane. I agree. But I think that's a lot. That's a lot of time because he does have to hire a bench coach. Well, yeah, but you could do that from a hotel room. Right? You're calling.
I mean, I guess. Yeah, sure you could. Yeah, you could do that from a hotel room. The other thing, though, is he's also just got to figure out, what he's got, right? He doesn't know anything about the whole organization from top to bottom, right? He's got to go soak in all of that information, and he's got to deal with that fire hose of information, but not just to learn about what the Giants have, but also what they don't have and what he's going to need and want as a manager once he is doing this, once he's into the 162 games grind, right? He's got to get everything together and ready so that it's in the shape that he wants and needs it to be by the time that the season kicks off. And that's coming really, really fast. Right? Because he also has to spend a bunch of time in Arizona doing spring training. Right? So he's got a lot to learn. He's got a fire hose of information to process. And I think I would want to be in the building with those people every day, all day, immediately, as I am learning everything that I can, right? Just about the whole organization. But then he's also got to build out his staff, right? And he's also got to work, I'm assuming, with Buster Posey to figure out what that dynamic is going to look like. He's also got to figure out how they're going to interface with the analytics teams and how they're going to use their scouts and how they're going to use all of that stuff, right? This is all stuff that he's got to go figure out and start put together so that it's in place. Now, luckily, he's going to have a lot of help and things like that, right? He's not going to have to reinvent
He's going to need a
everything.
lot of help because he's never done any of that.
Exactly. That's my point. He's got a lot to learn. He's got a lot to learn.
I feel like that's where filling out a staff is going to be probably a really big one, right? Because you got to have somebody that's going to know how to like run spring training, right? I mean, just things like that he's never done before. So the staff is going to be interesting. I'm going to really pay attention to kind of who they put on there because, I think maybe the only one that sticks around is JP Martinez,
Well, and I think we need him. We need Martinez, right?
Well, you need some continuity. You need someone who knows the pitchers, who knows, where.
Well, and then I think that almost takes care of half the problem for you, right? Because there's the guy that's in charge of the pitching.
Yeah.
And sure, you're going to want to talk to him about how you're going to want to use guys and how, what the bullpen changes are going to look like and all that sort of stuff. So I'm not saying that there isn't work to be done there. But, JP Martinez is going to be the guy who's making sure that everybody's getting the work that they need and is working on the things that they need to work on. And certainly, it's not like they live in a vacuum from each other, right? Like Vitello needs to know what everybody's capable of doing, what they bring to the table, and he's going to have an idea of what kind of guys he's going to want at different variations in the game. Yes, but I think bringing in Martinez, a guy who has been with the Giants for a long time, who was the coach, was the pitching coach last year, I think keeping him in place is a huge, huge win, and something that I would be very, very surprised to see if that doesn't happen.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I also feel like now going back to the college thing, right? I mean, Vitello is a teacher. He's a coach, right? And so I feel like he's probably going to want to sit down as he's meeting with each of those players, what do they want to work on? What are the things that they need to work on? And maybe he's got some ideas after going through all the one thing about, like for me, if I were going to a new job, I don't know crap about the people I'm about to supervise or I'm about to lead, right? He's got a whole website full of information, multiple websites full of information that he could access. So he knows what kind of players and what they probably need to work on, but then he can work with each of those players. So I feel like the teaching aspect is going to be an interesting part of this, and bringing in that kind of the we've talked about this on previous episodes back in years past where, I think we used to take for granted that major leaguers, once you got there, that they were done learning, right? And I think the one thing that we saw during the Kapler era, that's not necessarily the case. And I wouldn't mind getting back to some of that.
Well, I think unfortunately we saw that also during the Melvin era in the opposite way. And I can't remember who it was. I think it was Giants talk, but I heard them talking about how, that Posey was a little annoyed that some of the pregame prep that was going on was just haphazard and not focused and organized. It wasn't dealing with the issues that the team had, right? And I think that what Buster is expecting from Vitello is a man of action, right? He's going to have systems and he's going to have processes, but he's also going to be able to react to changes and do the things that need to be done in order to make the team better, not just in the off season, but also in season. And I do think that Melvin was a little bit of that old school approach, which is just very much like, oh no, you just let the players go play and they'll work through it. And we don't poke at things too hard. We let them figure it out because they're pros and that's why they got here. And I personally don't believe that's the right thing to do. Now, I'm a guy sitting in his closet. But it sounds like there's a lot of people within baseball who don't think that way either. And it certainly sounds like Buster Posey is one of those guys.
Yeah. Well, and say what you will about Gabe Kapler and his, tenure. I think one of the things that we heard all the time was how intense his coaches were on finding every advantage to improve the team. And it played out in a 107 win season. And Buster Posey was a part of that. And so I feel like, Kapler's fault was that he wasn't a great communicator, but a strength was definitely preparing the guys, throughout a season. And I think there's something to be said for that. So I think we're going to get back to that. And I think that Vitello and his college experience is going to play with that really well.
I agree. And certainly hope that is right. All right, Matthew.
Isn't it time for the booze, boys?
All right, Bob. Yes, it is time for the booze.
What are you drinking, Ben?
Well, I am so glad you asked, Bob. Bob, today I am drinking a cocktail that I am calling a Bennessee Iced Tea. And what's in a Bennessee Iced Tea? Well, it's the same thing as a Tennessee Iced Tea, except it doesn't have Jack Daniels in it because I didn't have any. But I had bourbon. So that's what's in it. It has 2 ounces of bourbon, half an ounce of Cointreau or any other orange-flavored liqueur, 3/4 of an ounce of lemon juice, half an ounce of rich simple syrup. That's simple syrup that is 2 parts water, 2 parts sugar to 1 part water. You put all of that into a shaker with ice. You shake it until it is well chilled. Then you pour that into a highball glass over ice, and then you top it with Coca-Cola. Folks, if you look up a Tennessee whiskey online, you're going to find some recipes that tell you to put the Coca-Cola into your shaker and shake it. And you should definitely not do that. And you should never go to that website again. Because 1, it tells you that those people never made that cocktail. 2, at best, you're going to kill all your bubbles. At worst, you're going to make your shaker explode. Or at least, it's going to feel like an explosion.
You're going to be doing a lot of cleaning up.
Yeah, because it's going to spritz out and it's going to be gross. Don't put bubbles into your shaker,
Our
folks.
listeners know this, Ben. Our listeners know this.
Yeah. Okay. That's right. They listen to the Perfect Sip. They got it. They understand. Anyway, that's what I'm drinking today, Bob. The Bennessee Iced Tea.
That's a tasty cocktail.
It was good. I'm not going to lie, man. And it probably would have been better with Jack Daniels because there's just something about Jack Daniels and Coke together. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was good. I'm not even ashamed to say it.
What are you drinking, Matthew?
Bob, I had a Halloween party yesterday. Hosted it at my place. And decided to do some batch cocktails. And, everybody loves vodka. I get a little bored with it, but man, I decided I was going to do a vodka drink. And so I did a fall-themed vodka drink. And man, I had to make like 3 different batches of this. It went so fast.
Wow.
So here's what it is, folks. It's got 2 ounces of pear-flavored vodka. Pear vodka, 1.5 ounces of apple cider. I use Martinelli's apple cider. 1 ounce, not the carbonated, just the apple cider. No carbonation in it. 1 ounce of pear juice. 3/4 ounces of lemon juice. 3/4 ounces of spiced syrup. And I just used sugar cane syrup or when I made the syrup because I didn't want it to be dark. I wanted it to be this pale, like, color. So I used white sugar and then I put some allspice and some cloves and cinnamon sticks in it to make it a spice syrup. And then you're going to put all those, you're not going to shake anything. You're just going to put it all together. If you're doing an individual cocktail, you just put it all into a Collins glass with ice and give it a good stir to incorporate. And then you're going to top it with 2 ounces of hard apple cider. And so there's some bubbles there. And you're going to slowly stir and go back to the Perfect Sip if you want to know how to handle your bubbles. But you're going to do a little bit of a slow stir to incorporate the bubbles. And you're going to garnish it with a dehydrated apple slice, which I just cut apples into slices and threw them in the oven for like 20 minutes and they dried out. And I just used those. And people loved it. It was a great cocktail. And so that's what I'm drinking today, Bob. The Golden Orchard.
That's a tasty cocktail.
So Matthew,
It's pretty good.
So Matthew, the apple juice then was the one that was in the bottle shaped like the apple, not the bottle that looks like champagne.
Correct.
Got it.
Yes.
Okay.
And it said apple cider on it, not apple juice.
Right.
But not sparkling apple cider.
Right.
Just
right. In the
regular
little apple-shaped bottle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it has to be Martinelli's.
It does have to be Martinelli's. It was really good.
Watsonville represent.
That's right. And that's a wrap, folks. Thank you for listening. We'll be back next week when we're talking about, I don't know, we'll make something up.
We got to sign dudes, dude. We got to get Verlander back, and we got to get Scherzer. We got to get every pitcher over the age of 40.
Oh, we'll make a list of all the pitchers over 40. We'll talk about those at length. If you can't wait that long, though, you can reach out to us on the socials under the username Giant Cocktails. You can also find us on YouTube, and where you can subscribe and leave us comments. And don't forget to leave us a review, like a 5-star review on your podcast platform of choice.
Just like Jenna.
AKA That's right. Just like Jenna. Look at you remembering her name. AKA Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Ben, it was great talking Giants with you. Until next time, cheers, my friend.
Cheers, Matthew. Bye, everybody.
Goodbye. Don't let Drew Gilbert run with scissors.
Thank you for listening to the Giant Cocktails Podcast. Until next time, bottoms up.
What's it with Willie Adames always giving people haircuts, though? Have you noticed that? He's always got first of all, he's using the wrong scissors for it. They're like the scissors for cutting leather.
Oh, I didn't know this.
He's giving Jung Hoo Lee's interpreters haircuts.
Oh. Well, it's like Ted Lasso.
Folks, the following portion of the program may include spoilers for seasons 1 and 2 of the television show Ted Lasso. Please listen with caution if you have not seen the show and you wish to see it in the future. But also, those shows are years old. If you're complaining about spoilers now, you need to get over it. Also, Bruce Willis is in The Sixth Sense.
Oh, damn. Damn.
That's dangerous what I just said. I'll have to think about that one.
Folks, I don't know Ben at all. I just met him. When Roy Kent retires and the new guy becomes the captain, apparently he gives like one haircut a year to like everyone. You gotta like, and it's a whole ceremony cutting their
Roy
hair.
cuts their hair.
No, the new captain, and I'm forgetting his name. I don't remember his name.
Giancarlo.
I don't think that was it.
Bill.
Yes, that was it. Bill.
Okay, it's Bill. Yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah, Bill gives everybody a haircut once a year. Is Bill good at giving haircuts? Oh,
He
okay.
is.
All
He's
right.
very
All right.
good at
Can you get it cut again or no? Is it like
Nope.
inappropriate?
No, you can only use one cut. a
Wait.
year.
Okay, so one cut by Bill or one cut by anybody?
No, by Bill.
Okay. Well, that's a.
So all the teammates they pick and choose when they're going to get their
Oh, I
haircut.
see. Bill will only cut your hair one time per year, and so then you got to pick and choose it right because you want Bill to do it. I'm thinking that maybe
Exactly.
Bill Lott missed his calling, like he should have been a hairstylist and not a soccer.
Yeah, I guess so. But he's also a good
Yeah,
soccer
okay.
player,
He's
so
probably
what
if
do you
he's playing for Ted Lasso, he's the worst of the best.
do? Or the best of the worst. Yeah,
All right,
something like that.
what level is Ted Lasso at, Matthew? Is he the?
Well, first he got relegated.
Oh, in his first season. After his first season, he gets relegated.
In first season.
Well,
Yes.
that's lame.
And so then they climb back in after the
Okay.
second season, back into the
Okay, so they don't have a
Premier.
great
Is it Premier
escape under
League?
Ted Lasso. This is a
What do you
thing
mean?
in the Premier because of relegation, Matthew. People get really excited when a team that sucks and is in the relegation spots like wins a bunch of games at the end of the season to barely miss being relegated. It's called an escape. And it's super exciting. It's like one of the ways that they make the sport exciting because there's only 6 teams that are actually good in that league. Like, you have to be a fan of one of those 6 teams if you ever want your team to win. Them and Leicester.
Well, then I'm wondering, like, if you're the worst of the best, and then you get relegated, but then you have a really good chance the next year to like get back in because you're already the worst. The best of
but
the
there's
worst
a lot,
at that
and there's a
point.
few teams that kind of hover back and forth like that, but usually no, like because the teams are so desperate to get to the Premier League because the TV money is so good, and just all of the money is so good that like being there at for 1 or 2 years can like just be a huge financial windfall. So the downside is that the teams in the championship, which is the league below, they spend tons and tons of money, and they all lose money because they're all trying to spend to get to the next level. This is what Ryan Reynolds is going to have to deal with. It's not going to be pretty.
Okay.
They're going to need a lot more money, is what I'm saying. Wrexham is going to need a lot of more money.
Just realized
they're going to need a lot more money.
If you're going to include this at the end, I just realized that I gave away like season 1 and 2 of Ted Lasso.
We'll announce. Okay.